This is a Global Original Podcast. As you can hear from the echoey sound of my voice, I am recording this from where the government is keeping our vital track and trace information. They've lost the lot. There's nothing in here. This week, the clips are taken from before anyone had even heard of COVID-1, let alone COVID-19, and includes some back and forth about things that used to concern us before the news amounted to the daily death numbers, and ministers telling us that their incompetence is all our fault. Coming up, a man calls in after maybe one too many whiskies, but first, here's a chap who just can't stand it anymore. Let's have a call in Brighton. Hello, John.
Hi there, Nick.
John.
Yeah. No, about Brexit, can we just forget it ever happened?
Forget whatever happened.
All made up in our minds. Nobody's... You go on the online forums now, and nobody's interested anymore. They don't know why they voted for Brexit. It's just all gone into a complete shambles. Everyone's sort of lost interest.
Yeah, you know, this idea that, well, we just want it to be over with is one of the most ridiculous things I've heard about this whole Brexit issue. This is the most important moment for our country outside of wartime, and people are bored. I want something else. I want to be entertained. God, it's pathetic.
Well, they want easy answers, don't they? I think.
No, they actually do want to be entertained. They want to be amused. Now, what else have you got? What's on the other side? They said, reaching for their remotes. This is real life, baby.
Yeah. And also about the emission zone thing. I mean,
Yeah.
how are poor people meant to manage having to get new cars in London?
Are you talking about me?
Well, no, not you. I mean, just all the people in London who've got old cars that don't meet the standards, and they're expanding it in a few years to the North Circular.
I know, yeah.
So it's a massive expansion. God knows what's going to happen to a lot of the people. I mean, it's crazy, I think.
Well, not really, because practically nobody in London is driving a car old enough to warrant a charge, except me.
Well, I think there's plenty of old cars, older cars in the 90s, yeah. I think there's plenty of old cars that will get hit by it.
I don't see it. All I see are new cars, and it makes me wonder, who are all these people who can afford all these new cars?
Yeah.
Practically every other car on the road is a brand new Mercedes coupe. Who are all these people that can afford that car?
Well, rich people. Richer people than you and me,
Well, yeah,
I think.
damn it. All right, thanks a lot, John. Now, isn't that typical of Brighton? He wants to imagine that it was all just, it was all make-believe. A Brightonian called in and suggested it was all a figment of our imagination.
Want to score some pot?
Steve says, excellent work in giving short shrift to the Farage fantasists who've called so far. They don't seem to have understood the basic education we all learned at school, namely DUP. Sorry, that's the 3 R's. Listeners with material. What he meant was RRR. Yeah, I was reading the Irish Times today, and it was an excellent article about the launch of Nigel Farage's new party. I'll just give you I don't know why I was reading the Irish Times, but I just was. A few hundred people are crowded into a warehouse belonging to an industrial cleaning company in an area called Longford in Coventry. It's a peculiar setting for the launch of a new political party, but then almost everything about Nigel Farage and his Brexit party is a bit unusual. And then it carries on in that vein. It's an excellent article, and I commend it to the House. Let's have a call in Shooters Hill. Hello, Chris.
Hello, Nick. How you doing, mate?
Good, thanks.
Cool. Just nothing Brexit related from me. I have no comments whatsoever on the subject.
You have nothing to say?
No, nothing to say on that. But I've been living the dream slightly with regards to kind of the tax dodging corporations being Amazon and stuff like that, and also a high street burger chain. I was sitting on the bus and noticed one of the little competition stickers on the floor.
Yeah.
And picked it up, and it had a little online code that I tapped into my phone. Android, by the way. I've changed from Apple now back to Android.
To Android, yeah, he's on the robot phone.
Affirmative.
Yeah. The Apple phone that my brother gave me did actually die, so
right.
I'm back on Android.
Well, that's fine with me. I hate Apple. I'm not sure whether I'm allowed to say that on the air, but they screwed up my iTunes account. I took it from one computer to the next, and the whole thing was screwed up.
I know, we conversed about this before Christmas, I think, briefly.
Oh, yes.
So I inputted the little code there online.
Yes.
Onto the website.
We're all on the edge of our seats, Chris. What happened then?
And by Jove, I won a 2-month subscription to Kindle Prime, I think, which I'm going to use to download your book.
He won a prize! Excellent news. And you found it on a bus?
Found it on a bus. And I've been waiting to I did actually go into a high street bookstore to try and find it, but they didn't actually have it in stock, and they can only get it online.
You have to order it direct from Jeff Bezos.
Yeah, so...
and he's going to want to know where you found that ticket, by the way. I'm sure he'll want a piece of that action.
Yeah, I found it in Woolwich. So if he wants to risk going down there with all his wads of cash, then he's more than welcome.
Exactly. Tell him to come to you, precisely.
I will do. But another quick one is I did look on YouTube briefly and just saw something about Donald Trump not being able to read, or that there's suspicions about him not being able to read. And I just thought of all the things that are starting to go wrong.
Yeah.
And with his...
it starts to make a lot of sense, yeah.
I know, anything longer than a couple of pages, he
can't do it, no. Well, his assistants, apparently, they make it in picture form, like for a child. And they put pictures of himself, of Donald Trump, on their cards, because otherwise he wouldn't look at it. It really is that bad.
For him. This is you reading this. Oh dear.
That's right. Here's a picture of you looking magisterial, and now sign this in your big boy squiggle.
Oh no, I was a new colour hue I've discovered for him as well. Is gasboard orange.
That's about right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, keep thinking, Chris, and keep your eyes on the ground, because that's where the gold is. He found a winning ticket on a bus. You believe that? And now he's going to buy my book with it. It's called The Car Crash 24-Hour-a-Day Multiple Newsgasm. Ask for it by name at an internet near you. And talking about spelling mistakes, I think there's a spelling mistake in the first line of the paperback. I think the e-book is fine, but for some reason there's a spelling mistake, and I don't know how this could possibly be, because when you make on a Kindle website, when you make an e-book, you just copy and paste it to become a paperback. It's the same thing. But so why is there a spelling mistake in the first line of the paperback version, but not the e-book version? Unless I'm getting that wrong. Very strange. Odd. I think Vladimir Putin's probably got something to do with it. Thanks a lot, Vlad. Joe says, the argument about more young people being able to vote and therefore swinging the balance in favour of Remain is false. You're forgetting the people that have got older and more bitter. Well, there is that, yeah. Now, I saw a video today of it was some classroom somewhere. I can't remember which site it was one of the news sites, and the teacher asked the kids in the class, so who now would, they were like, I don't know, 14 or something, and he said, who now, this class of 30 kids, would vote to leave the European Union? Not one single hand went up. And he said, well, who would vote to stay in the European Union? Every single kid in that class put their hand up. The kids don't want to go. But grumpy old men and women, they want to they want to leave. And they won't enjoy the fruits of that leaving, because they won't be around long enough. If you talk about a short-term pain, even in the best possible scenario, there will be short-term pain. But short-term in economic terms, for want of a better word, is 10 years, 20 years. The last recession started 12 years ago. And we're still not out of it yet. We're still, the hole that we're in because of the recession is getting deeper every second of every day. I mean, they talk about the
what's the question?
The question is, oh, please help me. I need your help. The question is, the profit and loss account of the country, the gross domestic product. It's the deficit. The deficit. They make a big song and a dance about the deficit is smaller this year than it was the previous year, but that doesn't mean that we're not borrowing. That just means that we're borrowing less. We're not putting money back in. The hole of debt that we have made for ourselves is getting bigger all the time. We haven't recovered an inch. Haven't paid back a penny in 12 years. So you want another one of those? You're holding out for something better happening in 12 years' time? They said that the next recession is going to be even worse than the last one, by the way. But just as long as it doesn't have anything to do with Brexit. Another news, it's got something to do with Brexit.
Oh, no.
If only I knew then what I know now, I'd have known that the next recession won't really have anything to do with Brexit at all. Coming up, when the going gets tough, the tough get going on holiday.
Are you trying to be funny? Because I'm all out of laughs.
No, there's nothing funny about it. Still confused in Dover says, does Brexit still mean breakfast? Jill says, how many days will Parliament be sitting? Weeks off for Easter and then the summer term, as many as bloomin' kids. It's incredible how many holidays they get. They're off on holiday at the moment. In this period of economic distress, they've said, right, that's it, we're leaving. Our job is finished. So they're off now for, 2 weeks? Because, they deserve it after all their hard work and such. And then they're going to be back on the 23rd of April. And then again, they're going to have another week in May. And then they'll have another, 2 weeks. They'll have about a week at the beginning of May, as far as I know. And then is 2 weeks at the end of May. And then they'll be back the beginning of June, and then they'll go away for 52 weeks in over summer, from July through to September. And then when they come back in September, they work work as inverted commas, for about another 2 weeks, and then they get another 3 weeks off, only to come back for another couple of weeks, and then they get Christmas. Jeez, it's just amazing how many holidays they get. And then they complain about their workload.
Stop whining.
Ken says, buy yourself a Jif lemon squeezer and squirt it to the back of your throat, then gargle with it and then swallow it. You can thank me later. No, I'll thank you now.
Thank you.
But I'm not going to do that. But I do appreciate you making the effort. Simon in Watford.
Hello, hi there.
Hello there.
Hi, Nick. Yeah, so I used to be just like you, Nick, a Remainer. But then I switched over to becoming a Brexiteer, and actually life is a lot more simpler.
Is it?
Yes, because now I can say things like, we want to take back control, and we won, and get over it.
Get over it, yeah.
Yeah, you should try it, to be honest, Nick. Honestly, you'll be much more happier in life. But in all seriousness, Remainers, what they do, they talk about the economy, and I don't think that Brexiteers should be debating that. I think that it's really more about the identity and sovereignty of the country.
It's about feelings, yeah. People think that we have lost our identity somehow, but how that is possible, I'm unclear. How is it possible that we have lost our identity? Do you know who you are? Do you know where you're going to?
No, but the thing is, if we continue with this EU program, we will just become more homogenized, if that's the right word.
Is it?
I think that...
Homogenized?
Yeah.
What, like milk?
Yeah, no, in a way that, in a sense that, it will be like a United States of America, but Europe version.
I don't see how that could be possible. How is that going to be possible? I mean, we're part of Europe for a dog's age. Do you feel more European or more British?
Well, the thing is, at the beginning, it was it was all just about trade, wasn't it? and then slowly but surely it's gotten more political, and there's more and more rules, and it's now, and now it's gonna become more and more like a United States of Europe. That's what it seems to be like, isn't it?
Well, it is the United States of Europe.
Yeah, but the thing
That's
is,
the whole
we
idea.
won the war in.
Oh my
in
God!
World
You
War II,
just did not say we won the war.
Yeah, we did.
Oh,
We did.
I'm sorry. That time's up. I wish you'd started out saying that. Then I could have saved 5 minutes. We didn't win the war. We didn't stand alone. No, we didn't. Victor says, just a small point, but will the police who entered and then left the Ecuadorian embassy qualify for duty-free goods? Keep up the good work. I don't know, what does Ecuador do? What does Ecuador do, by the way? Get Ecuador on the phone. They're not picking up? They're probably still trying to clean the stuff off the walls. Did you hear about that?
Disgusting.
Yeah, I hope you're not eating peanut butter. I'll describe it to you later. Joe says the financial service sector is a nice friendly term for moneylenders, insurance scammers, and those who gamble with our money while knowing that they will be fully rescued if they fail. Exactly. The financial finaglers. No! Those people. Well, unfortunately, thanks to Margaret Thatcher, we have hooked our cart to those horses. Those asses. We are far too reliant on the financial services sector with all their various criminal activities. None of which actually ends in a prison sentence, by the way. If you steal a penny chew from your local supermarket, you will be going to jail, or at least you will have the full force of the law brought down upon you. If you steal £100 million or billions of pounds from a country, then you are not going to jail, you're going to the House of Lords. Frank and Annie say, we live in Rickmansworth and there is a French market in the high street tomorrow. We feel a great need to go and apologise about this ridiculous mess. Do you think we should go? It's embarrassing. It's awful that we are now the laughing stock of the world. Well, no, we're not the laughing stock of the world. Fortunately, we have Ancient Orange. He's the laughing stock of the world. He's made America that.
Oh, shut up!
Those French markets. There used to be one where I used to live in Putney, and you'd go down there and you'd think, what, £5 for a loaf of bread? What? I bought. They were shutting up for the day, and they had baguettes. Now, I know you're not supposed to buy a baguette past about noon, after which, like a proper one. I don't even know if proper baguettes are still available in France, are they? Because they just don't last. So you make them, and you've got to throw them away by about lunchtime. And I thought, well, it's a French market, they'll be the real thing. And so I bought like 5 of them. I thought, I'll freeze them. That's me using the old noggin. And I took them home. It was the exact same thing that you get in Sainsbury's and Tesco's. It's in the shape of a baguette, but it's not an actual baguette. Not from what I remember as a child in France, going down to the bread van, as an 11-year-old, and asking for deux baguettes et un croissant, s'il vous plaît. It was not like that. Is there anything better than a baguette with some cheese squirted all over it? No, is the answer to that question. But not that stuff. So I think that the French market is just people who've gone to Tesco and they buy things that you would assume would be French, double the price, and then put them on their stall on a checkered tablecloth. But I'm sure that the French market in Rickmansworth isn't like that at all. And you should go and buy, whatever it is that they're selling. Probably snails and chopped up bits of geese.
Disgusting.
Lovely. Awful. Coming up, a man who made sure he was completely refreshed before he called. Gina says, did you know that Jacob has a sister called Annunciation? Close. Did you listen to his show this evening? I couldn't believe what I was hearing. If I had a choice, I would choose Barbados. What's wrong with the man in Farnham? Tell him to calm down. I have vague ideas of what it is you're talking about, but I don't listen to this show, so I'm not really very familiar with any of the callers. Let's have Burnley. Dave.
Hiya, how's it going?
Great, mate.
I've just come in. I'm listening to the show.
Where have you been?
I've just been for a drink, actually.
A drink? What did you drink?
Well, I had whiskey.
Yeah.
And I had a real ale.
What, at the same time?
One after the other.
One after, right. So it wasn't a chaser?
No.
Right.
I had the whiskey first and then the bitter.
Yeah, but you want the whiskey first just because you need to get, a little bit out of it immediately.
I have a whiskey every night. I love a whiskey.
Yeah. I'm
English, but I love a whiskey.
Right. So this is you got going?
That's me going, yeah. Like I say, I've never listened to your show, but...
Oh, no. You're probably very disappointed, and I apologise.
Are you on in the morning? Because I listen to it at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Am I on in the morning?
Yes.
What, do I sound like the man that's on in the morning?
What's he called?
Well, it depends.
What's he called? At 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
I put it on. You're not that guy, are you not?
No. Whatever day of the week you're talking about.
So what's your name?
Oh, God. Well, so
honest to God, I've just turned the radio on. I've heard you. You're on about Brexit, immigration. Mm-hmm. So I just thought I'd have a bit of a call to you.
Yes.
Because I don't agree with you.
Oh, no. Surely not.
Yes.
Is this the whiskey talking?
No, this is the real ale. What it were is that you mentioned we didn't know what we were voting for.
Yes.
Is that you? Do you agree with that?
Well, did I say it?
The government sent us a leaflet through before the referendum, and it gave all the details.
Mm-hmm.
So
did you read it?
That. Yes.
What did it say?
It said the reasons why we should stay in the European Union.
Right.
The customs union, the everything.
Everything.
I didn't agree with it because I thought Britain is a good enough country to make its own decisions.
Right. So you really didn't understand it at all, then or now? Is that what you're saying?
Are you trying to say I'm wrong?
I'm not trying to say you're wrong, Dave. I am saying
you're
wrong.
Are you saying you're wrong? So what did it say then?
I'm not saying that you're wrong about what the leaflet said. I'm saying that you're wrong about your assertion based on the supposed reading of that leaflet.
So that leaflet...
Some vague assertion that we are Great Britain and we can stand alone and I don't know where you got that nonsense.
Are you trying to say that leaflet by the government was rubbish?
No, Dave, I'm saying what you're saying is rubbish.
So what am I saying?
He doesn't know who I am. He doesn't know what he's saying. Good grief, you're all over the place, Dave. How many whiskies have you had tonight?
Well, quite a few, actually.
Well, I think that answers a lot of questions. Maybe you should think about cutting down a bit.
You might be right there, actually.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to say, we all had a leaflet through, and we had to make a decision, and we did.
Based on no information of any kind whatsoever. You didn't base your decision on the leaflet, did you?
Are you trying to say that government made a £9 million decision to put that leaflet through everybody's door on a load of rubbish?
No, not what's on the leaflet. I'm saying that you are saying rubbish. You're claiming that you based your decision on the leaflet, but you didn't by your own admission. So
why did the leaflet come through our door?
In the hope that somebody might read it to learn something. But sadly,
everyone who voted Brexit read that leaflet wrong.
I very much doubt that most people who voted Brexit did read the leaflet.
Well, it come through my door. I read it, and I decided that I didn't want to agree with the European Union.
Right. Why? Why though? Why? Based on what information?
Because I want Britain to make its own decision.
Right, so but based on no information, based on some vague, waffly notion that Britain can stand alone and we bestride the world and all of that God Save the Queen stuff. Oh, it's painful.
Britain can stand alone.
No, of course we can't. How can any country stand alone, for crying out loud, Dave? You don't know what you're talking about.
Well, I'm sorry. I agree with a lot of your things you said tonight. So I just thought you might say I had a bit of an opinion myself.
Life is full of disappointments, Dave. Get used to it.
I
think maybe have another whiskey. That'll solve all of your problems. Thanks a lot, mate. 034. Maybe I should have some whiskey. Gargling with port is what somebody called in and told me to do the other week, but I didn't do it. When will I learn my lesson? Lizzie says, I don't know whether to laugh or cry at the right-wing headbangers calling you tonight, says Lizzie. Well, pick one. Marissa says, I was having lunch with a friend today in Browns in Victoria when we saw this humongous convoy of motorbikes thunder by. Oh, God, the lights have just gone out. Wait a moment. Wave me. Arms in the air like I just don't care. Like I'm doing the disco dancing. She says, a humongous convoy of motorbikes thundered by. It was incredible. But the pollution it must have created. I'm surprised the mayor allowed it with his attempts to reduce it. Do you know what that was all about? Yeah, I think it was about the soldier potentially being on trial. Which seems, maybe it's a bit too late in the show to get into that. It seems a bit odd that there seems to be an idea out that as soon as somebody pulls on the uniform of a member of the armed forces, that nothing they do from that moment on can be questioned in any way. That they are our boys and therefore above reproach. Well, I beg to differ. Hugh says, someone's nicked my hairdryer. Not for me, I use it for the pooch. Is that a euphemism? Because if so...
Disgusting.
That's not what the intended use for that product is. Read the instructions, Hugh. You're not supposed to use it on your pooch. I will never be able to think of a pooch in the same way again. You either, now, I expect. You're welcome. And that's it. If you subscribe to this podcast, you'll find the next episode gets squirted up your life as though by magic on Mondays. And don't forget that I also do a podcast with Carol McGiffin called What's Your Problem with Nick and Carol, in which Carol McGiffin and I try to solve people's problems while laughing like drains. If you would like to have a problem solved by us, then simply send it to the following address, nickandcarol@global.com. That's nickandcarol@global.com. And prepare to be completely satisfied. There is also, by the way, the Whole Show podcast, which is, as it sounds, the whole show that I do on the radio, where I will be back Friday, Saturday and Sunday night at 10. And until then, I'll be seeing you.
Bye-bye.